Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
If you'd like to sponsor Still Got Game, email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Hey now! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 303. Still Got Game's official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
And joining us later from the news desk will be Tiffany Electrify Nolan. And in case you can't tell, I'm a little sick. It came back from 2 weeks off, and we could not miss the show. So I do have a treacherous cold. It's on the tail end, hopefully, because PAX East is coming up, and I'd like to get rid of that. But I'm a little stuffy, but I'm going to do the best to not interrupt the show with gross sounds. Is that cool?
I hope you do.
I know you always like that. You like a little change up to things, but
keep it real. Gotta keep it real.
Yeah, I feel like my voice is real nasal, but I can go raspy now if I have to.
I need a hero.
I'm holding out for a hit. Oh, yes.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. See the outtakes later.
There you go.
So we did have 2 weeks off, but we are back, and we will jump right in the show proper. We'll try to keep this as quick as possible tonight. So in feedback from last week's show, remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, it will cut you off after a minute. Donna comments, "You guys promised me that you'd be back on a normal schedule, then skip 2 shows in a row. I've missed you so much. Please come back. Heart." We did. I recall the last time we missed a show, and Donna commented, and we promised that we would not miss anymore, and then we missed 2.
I like that we're just liars. Just blatant disregard for all human emotion.
I think when we say these things, we have all intentions. Yes, the intention is to never miss a show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Like, there's been several times we also talked about doing a spin-off show, non-video game related, another night a week. And that the intention is there for us to do that too. It just has not happened.
Yeah, it's all there.
Hit
intended to start the show on time. He intended to do that.
He did. And it just didn't happen.
Is it good?
So we do everything in the best effort approach. But Donna, we're going to promise you again, we're going to try to not miss any shows. That time I said try. So
I like that.
Little cover there. But
keep those expectations low,
yes,
and then exceed them. That is the key to success.
Yeah, but I can't see us missing next week because that'll be right after PAX East, and we'll want to talk about everything from there.
Sure.
So, but yes, we are sorry, and we are back. All right. Barrackhouse comments. Bring back the show. Bring back the show. Enough said.
All right, done.
Okay, the show's back. So the show is back. So you're welcome, Barrackhouse. I don't even know how you say that. Like
Barrackhouse? Barrackhouse.
Barrackhouse?
It's spelled like house, but
or maybe it's Barrackhouse.
Barack's house?
Barackahoose. Barackahoose. I don't know. Nice name, Brock. Maybe you could pick something a little simpler. D Smooth. Dude, well, actually, Dude I Rock's not good because it's either Duty or Dude I Rock or Duty Rock or yours is just as ambiguous.
Yeah.
But yeah, D Smooth. Hey, you know what? Capitalize the shit that you want pronounced out a different way. D Smooth. It's not D Smooth because the D and the S are both capital. D Smooth. See? Done. So you're welcome, Barracuda. I helped you out. Last but not least, Vidler comments. I love your breakdown of the Sony acquisition in the last episode. I didn't realize the connections between Sony as a whole and their game studio and how all the pieces fit together. Actually, now that I think about it, I usually learn at least one thing each episode. Thanks for the entertaining education.
I'm actually surprised at this comment. We do intend to drop knowledge. Sometimes we don't, but it's really nice when we do. Turns out.
Yeah, exactly. And apparently we're dropping at least one piece each week.
One morsel. That's the best rating we could ever get. That's 5 stars.
Yeah,
right there.
You have to wait through the episode to figure out where it is.
You don't know where the morsel's going to be. It could be at the beginning. It could be the end.
Maybe you get to the end of the show and you're like, I missed it. And then you have to listen again.
The whole show.
Then you're like, oh, there it was. It was right in the first 2 minutes and I totally fucked up and missed it. I was looking the other way at the time. But Yeah.
I like to think that we drop nuggets and then like they find the one nugget and they have to watch or listen to the entire history of the show to get every single nugget.
Yeah, it's like a connecting puzzle.
Exactly.
Yeah, so go back to episode 1 and start there.
Don't. Just don't.
It's horrible. I keep saying it. At some point, I'm going to pull a clip of the Quaalude-driven D-Smooth where like somehow my hey nows have gotten, hey now, I'm so upbeat now. But the original ones were like, hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Derek D-Smooth Nolan.
You're listening to the soothing voice of D-Smooth.
I realize people like a cocaine-fueled show much better than a Quaalude-fueled show.
This is very true. Yeah.
Yes. So that's what we aim for. We aim so that if you are fucking jacked up on coke, this show is right your pace. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, that was awesome feedback. And any feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site-related news, it's been slow. I've been gone. Jay's been gone. So we got nothing, I don't think. Right, Jay? Nothing. So that segment of the show is done. That is short. There was no knowledge
There's no nugget there.
That was not the knowledge nugget section.
Keep going.
For those of you, we're going to spoon feed you this episode to where you should be paying attention. But that was not where the nugget was dropped. All right. And on that, Jay, why don't we drop on over into what we're playing? Joel, Dude, I Rock, Albert, what have you been playing the last 2 weeks?
Last 2 weeks, I've been super busy at work. So I really haven't had time to actually do any gaming. Played a little bit of World of Warcraft, logged in just to update my Xbox and all the many games I have, and then immediately logged off. So I really haven't had any time to actually play games, which is shitty, man. It's been cold in Chicago. It's been brutal. Work's kind of sucked, and yeah, no games for me, man. It's brutal. Yeah. Hopefully next week.
All right. Well,
what about you?
I, on the other hand, have played lots of Destiny. That's the go-to game of choice. Yeah. Play the shit out of that every week. Love it. It's still awesome. Still fun. Dangling carrot, like WoW, but less annoying, less long, drawn-out quest lines, more fun. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. And Tiff is breaking all the rules typing the outline during the show.
I don't pay attention. That's what I disregard all of it.
Yes. Yeah, I try to disregard what happens in the outline during the show because it's very distracting. And she hates us. So, she's saying that she played Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I'm not sure that really was what people needed to know.
They did.
There were probably people...
That could have been the nugget. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Here's a hint. It's not the nugget. But it may have been. You didn't know. But it may have been the nugget, but it's not. All right. Well, on that, why don't we hop on over into the new releases? And we have a couple multi-platform releases out this week, and there weren't any major AAA titles, so it's a little one tier down this week. The first new release out this week is a multi-platform release, and it is Scream Ride, and this is out for the Xbox One and the 360. This is the latest in... Oh, my God. Everybody on the chat is fucking losing their shit here. You guys are really causing trouble. Wow. This is the latest roller coaster design game from Frontier, the same guys that brought us Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's like It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon after a Coke bender, and the ride construction is extreme and over the top, which is what you'd expect. It features 3 different game modes, one for creation, one for riding, and one for demolition. In the demolition mode, it's all about how much destruction you cause from launching your coaster off an incomplete track into a building or whatever, and just wreaking complete havoc. The game looks great. It's value priced at $40 for the Xbox One, $30 for the 360. Demos are available on both systems if you want to pull it down, so most definitely check it out. Jay?
No one else is going to check it out.
No.
I mean, do you actually care about this game at all, or how do you feel?
It actually, I've seen Eric Newstatter posted a couple clips of this, and it looks like one of those fun, like, no-brainer games. It doesn't have any multiplayer, but it's one of those where you compete on the leaderboard type of thing. Like, I caused this much destruction, or, I did this much fucking damage, or I went this fast, or whatever. And it's kind of cool. Like those roller coaster tycoon games are fun. Just fun building a coaster sometimes. But
yeah, that's true. I mean, this is like an old thing I think that I used to be like into when I had some free time. Back in the day, I spent I don't even know how many countless hours on roller coaster tycoon. Probably like 40 hours, 50 hours in like a week. It was like a full-time job, you know?
Yep.
But, you know, that's the thing. I talk about this all the time where it's whenever there's no multiplayer component or some sort of sharing of the roller coasters or whatever, you know, something like that to sort of give me a reason to play or a reason to compete. Yeah. There's really not a lot there for me. But I could see because it's one of those games where you can pick it up and just kind of play it.
Yeah, it's like literally a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer, yeah. Like the old roller coaster tycoons, you almost couldn't just pick it up and play it. Like it took some serious thought, or your roller coaster business would go like down the tubes, and you'd be frustrated for the next week. But this is cool for that.
Yes. All right. Well, minimal interest from me and none from Jay. The other new release out this week is also a multi-platform release, and it's Helldivers. And this is out for the PS4, the PS3, and the Vita. This is a top-down multiplayer squad-based shooter that you can cross-buy across all the PlayStation platforms. It's from Arrowhead Studios, the same guys that brought everybody Magica, which some people are fans of, some people weren't. But, it's a AAA title. Gameplay is fast and crazy, and the worlds in the game are procedurally generated, so it's got an infinite amount of replayability. It's not my kind of game, but it's only $20 or $18 for PlayStation Plus subscribers, so it's pretty damn cheap if you're looking for if you're this kind of top-down squad-based shooter guy and just want some different kind of multiplayer game to play with your friends. Every once in a while, you want to change it up. It's like when we all bought Monday Night Combat, or
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need something a little different, but yeah, not on my radar. I can't even remember the last time I turned on the PlayStation 4.
It's kind of sad. I actually was thinking about that yesterday. I mean, I barely have time to play my Xbox One, but I got like a bunch of older games on from the store, and I was like, I'm going to play some of these titles where I always wish I had my PlayStation 3 because I bought one, but I never ever used it. It was at the very end of the life cycle because they were so cheap. And I thought, I'll buy a couple of these, and I'll play them when I have free time. But like this, if I have free time, believe it or not, I'm probably going to play Destiny if I'm going to play any game. And I have it for the PS4, but I already have my characters on one side, and there's no point to start over again. So
this is true.
Yeah, it makes it really hard to play. It's kind of a shame because I do think the system is really good, but I've got 2 Xboxes to contend with, so the one PS4 doesn't really get any love, and certainly not for this game. So,
all right, fair enough. Well, on that, why don't we hop on over into gaming news, and we'll head over to Tiffany Electrifying Nolan at the news desk. What's going on, Tiff?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Pretty chaotic here with you in the stream.
No way. Waiting for these nuggets. Drop them.
Yeah, seriously.
Drop them nuggets.
It's been a pretty slow news week, so hopefully you guys will be able to find some nuggets in here for our viewers and listeners.
All right.
First up, we have Fable going free to play on Xbox One and Windows 10. And this comes from Joystick X Engadget. Now you can add price alongside gameplay to the list of aspects that separates Fable Legends from its forebears. That's because the game is launching as a free-to-play title on Windows 10 and gratis with a Xbox Live Gold subscription on Xbox One. What's it all entail? Well, the official FAQ stresses that you'll be able to play the game from beginning to end without spending any real cash, and that all quests and storylines will be free. Same goes for everything that affects gameplay. There's a possibility that some customization options won't be purchasable with the in-game currency you earn and with its rotating system for playable characters. You have the option to permanently unlock a favorite character with cold hard cash too. So this isn't the first time Microsoft stepped into the F2P market, but it's possibly the highest profile example of it to date. Happy Wars and Project Spark didn't exactly set the world ablaze, so it'll be interesting to see just how well this does. So what do you guys think of this?
I think it's real tough to compete in a pay-to-play world now. There's very few people that can still pull it off, Blizzard being the behemoth in the room that can actually do that.
Right.
I think that Fable is a solid franchise, and when you're trying to make this break into the market, this is the way to go. And especially where they're saying it's not going to affect it's only cosmetic shit, which is more like the Team Fortress let's buy hats method.
Right. That's usually the way they go now with free to play because everyone hates pay to win. And usually, even if there's like a murky sort of gray space there where like some weapons can be gotten earlier than other weapons if you were to just play the game, it creates a really big backlash really fast. I mean, it's crazy how gamers react to anything that's supposed to, going to give you the potential of having an edge over somebody else. So,
Yep.
I actually, when I saw this news, I actually thought it was strange. I didn't think that really Fable lent itself to being a game like this. I don't think anyone would ever pay for a subscription to Fable in the first place. It's always been you buy Fable, you play Fable. Mm-hmm. So when I heard this, I was just like, is this like a full-fledged MMO? Is that why they're going down this road?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense for what they're trying to do. So it's certainly an awesome thing for anyone that owns an Xbox, I think. I think that's, to me, the coolest part. It's just another sort of piece of exclusiveness that you don't have to pay into to play. And it's really just free content. I mean, the biggest thing about any free-to-play game on the PC or, that sort of marketplace, you got to go out, you got to find the game, you got to download it, you got to do all these things and set it up. But to have it right there in the store and you're going to be able to just grab it and start playing it right away, it's a big boost. This is sort of one of the things I've always been asking for on the Xbox is having a market for MMO games. And certainly free-to-play is the best place to start. If people want to get their feet wet and they want to start on it, it's great. So I didn't really care about the new Fable. It kind of fell off from the original 2 and then sort of didn't play from that point on. But I think this is a good start. If this is successful, and I kind of hope it is, I think you'll see a lot more of this stuff in the future. So it's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And the one thing that no one has said, and there's no guarantee, but the fact that it's coming for Xbox One and Windows 10,
yeah, big deal.
I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those first games that do the cross-platform play, especially where now you have an even model on both sides. A lot of times there was a game that was free on consoles and it was still pay on PC. And now that the two of these have so much operating system in common, they're coming out at the same time for both. It's a Windows 10 premier exclusive game, basically, and it's going to be on Xbox One. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see cross-platform play on this, if not at launch at some point. But you heard it here first.
There you go.
That may be your nugget.
It's probably your nugget. Write that shit down.
Yes. All right. Next story.
Star Trek Online honors Leonard Nimoy with in-game memorial, and this comes from GameSpot. Cryptic Studios will honor Leonard Nimoy with a permanent memorial in the massive multiplayer online game Star Trek Online, the developer has announced. Quote, I want to once again express my heartfelt condolences to the friends, family, and fans of Leonard Nimoy. And this is from Cryptic Studios executive producer Stephen Rakosa, and he said this in a post to the game's official forums. Everyone at Cryptic Studios was saddened to hear of his passing, and we want to make sure we never forget the cultural impact of the man or the character he played. To that end, the Star Trek Online team will implement a standing in-game memorial to Spock and Leonard Nimoy this Thursday, March 5th, with our regular weekly maintenance. Star Trek Online players have already gathered to pay their respects to Nimoy independently, as you can see in shared screenshots all over the internet. Nimoy, who's best known for his role as Spock in the original Star Trek series in the 1960s, he passed away over the weekend. So what do you guys think of this? Pretty cool?
Very cool. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where you would expected it. It's funny when I heard about this, the sad news or whatever. I was waiting for like a screenshot of everyone in the game doing their thing and memorializing it. And to be honest, I actually thought it was almost more cool. I think we've got the screenshot behind Derek. Oh no, Hit hasn't put it up. Oh well. Anyway, so the screenshot, yeah, so there it is right now. So the screenshot's really cool because this is like before the memorial, or I like the one where the gamers are just doing it when they had just heard and they all sort of gathered on their own. It wasn't really led by the studio at all. So all the gamers just kind of got together and had like their moment of silence in game. Super nerdy, totally geeky, but obviously if you're thinking of nerdy and geeky, you're thinking of Star Trek anyway. And so that was really cool. Like they all just got together on their own, stopped playing the game, and did their thing. It's very cool that they're coming out and now going to memorialize it and all that other stuff as well. But it's nice that the fans sort of took up that torch right away. Obviously well-deserved, awesome career. Really a sad thing. The great thing is he lived a pretty long life, and he got to sort of see the next iteration of Star Trek in the movies.
Even
as well.
He got his cameo in there.
Got his cameo. Yeah.
He's one of the quintessential Star Trek guys, and it's who people think of. Whether you were a Kirk guy or a Picard guy, it doesn't matter. everybody was a Spock guy.
Yeah.
And Leonard Nimoy lived a quality life. He was always giving back to the community, and he's a big bucket to win. He will be missed.
Yep, absolutely.
Live long and prosper, baby. Live long and prosper. All right. On that down note, next story.
All right, so we got some career news coming up. Robert Boland joins Humble Bundle as Vice President Creative Director. Of this comes from IGN. Former Infinity Ward creative strategist and Robotalkie founder Robert Boland is joining the ranks of Humble Bundle as Vice President Creative Director. Humble Bundle has been an inspiration for a while with the freedom they bring to players, the opportunity they allow developers, and the ability to give so much back through the charity aspect of every part of their business, Boland told IGN. I'm excited to join them, having spent the last decade on the development side and experiencing firsthand the trials and tribulations of getting games out the door and getting them discovered by new audiences, he writes. I'm excited to help continue the tradition of innovating new ways for developers to release their games and the freedom for players to support them as Vice President Creative Director of Humble Bundle. At his new position at Humble Bundle, Bowling will build, quote, the future Humble Bundle through innovative new products and projects that focus on and continue to expand the core values of Humble Bundle as a company. And this is according to his LinkedIn. The news comes just over a month after Boland announced the closure of his game development studio, Robotalkie, in January. Boland founded Robotalkie in 2012 and began development on the zombie survival game titled Human Element for PC and the latest generation of consoles. The development of the studio's project is now on hold until further notice. Boland said at the time that the studio is actively negotiating a new publishing deal for the premium version of Human Element, but unfortunately I was unable to continue to self-fund development until a deal was finalized. Boland previously served as a creative strategist for developer Infinity Ward from 2006 until 2012, overseeing the release strategy and execution of course, the Call of Duty franchise. So, thoughts? Could this be, the next step to bringing Humble Bundle to consoles?
I think that's everyone's thought process is like, obviously because he has inroads into that area of gaming, that's probably where it's going to go. Other than outside of that news, I mean, it's really great that he's sort of landed and found a gig. Derek and I have actually known him for some time. It's cool, right? I mean, that's awesome. But for me, the biggest question is whether or not it's going to actually, come to consoles. I think that's the biggest deal about this move. Other than that, he's sort of been in this position where he's a salesman. He did it with the Call of Duty franchise. He's good at that. That's kind of what he's good at. When he sort of shifted into trying to make his own game studio and doing that, I always felt like
that's what he was bad at.
Yeah, like that. Well, that was a strange move, right? I kind of felt right away like I don't know if that's his place. So maybe this is
so high on yourself you think you can do anything, and then,
right,
then you switch over and you're like, well, maybe
you're like,
I
game
can't.
development's very hard. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be sort of a promoter. And I would venture to say that's more of what his role was when he was at Infinity Ward. He wasn't really out there making games. No. So this probably fits him a lot more than his previous job.
And like I said, we're not picking on him. He's a good guy. But that would be the ultimate outcome of this. Because right now, Humble Bundle is great. You name your own price. If you go over a certain price, you usually get a couple extra games in addition to the base bundle. Part of that goes to a charity or whatever, and it's there's a lot of kickback to it, and it just has never come to consoles. So maybe he's the one that's going to help shepherd that through his connections with Microsoft and Sony. And this is the first generation where every game is digital, so that is actually something that's doable as long as they can work through whatever red tape they have about selling a game for less than the hard copy version. But excuse me, but usually for Humble Bundle anyway, it is it's not at the release time of the game. There's some time that passes and it's not a brand new game, which is usually when these guys start discounting their own digital copies of stuff anyway. So I don't know. I think the best part of that story was listening to Tiff say Humble Bundle 85 times. It was definitely the most times that someone has ever had say Humble Bundle in 2 minutes. But you did a good job, Tiff.
Yeah, that was a really long story.
Yes. Well, it just seems long when you're saying Humble Bundle, Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle.
No, it was really a long story.
All right. Well, the next one will be shorter, I think.
All right. Well, we hope. So I have this week's What the Fuck story. You guys ready?
What the fuck?
Ready.
Fake Darkest Dungeon game pulled from the Windows Game Store, and this comes from Game Politics. Yesterday, Game Politics reported that the version of the popular indie game Darkest Dungeon being sold on the Windows Game Store was a fake and was not put there by developer Red Hook or its founder Chris Borasa. Barisa, whatever. Barasa tweeted a warning yesterday that the Windows Game Store version was not from his company and that he was reaching out to Microsoft to get the game removed. Today, Eurogamer has an official response from Microsoft and news that the game is no longer available on the storefront. The game published on the Windows Game Store was clearly a fraud for anyone paying attention. It was priced well below what Red Hook Studios sells the game for on Steam, and it was published by someone named Balaji Choudhury. I don't know. Who also appears to have published several other products in the store that he does not own, such as Lego Batman 3, Beyond Gotham, Watchmen, The End Is Nigh, and VMware Player. Wow, this guy's been busy. Here's what Microsoft had to say about the matter. Quote, "We are aware of recent claims of scam or unauthorized versions of certain games being sold in the Windows Store. We take claims of intellectual property infringement seriously and review them in accordance with our standard procedures. We also continue to review the content of our store periodically, as described in our recent blog post, as we work to deliver a great customer experience and provide fair and transparent developer policies and enforcement." So, what do you guys think of this? Like, this guy's just like putting games out there?
This is like the opposite of the iTunes Store. The iTunes Store, you submit something, and it takes like months for them to approve it. Here, it's like someone goes to the store, they buy a game on DVD, they rip it, then they're like, I'll update it to upload it to the Windows Game Store and sell it myself. Like, this guy sold the fucking VMware Player from VMware. He sold Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. Like, what kind of checks and balances
That's
are
what
in
I was
there?
thinking. The craziest thing is, and like, yes, we're using Apple as an example, but like, just use the example of Xbox. It's really hard to get a game on Xbox One. Super hard. It's a pain in the ass. You have to pay money, and you have to do all this. Well, not so much anymore, but you know, the old model you did, and there's still to this day a ton of checks and balances to release anything on that store. Why is it that the Windows Store is just like grab folder, drag, drop, set price, submit? What's up, motherfucker? I'm rich. It's
Buy
the
my
weirdest
VMware
thing.
Player, but like,
I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't make any sense. Why is it so easy for him to? That's the question. Why is it so easy? Not like, why wasn't this figured out earlier and how did this get? But why was it such an easy process for him to do? He's clearly been doing it for a while. And the irony, I think, is that this indie developer is the one that sort of was the one to say, "Hey, that's not my shit." But he had like Lego and like, no one's paying attention. It's really weird.
you would think at least on submission, someone's like,
At least.
hey, what's coming in? Oh, like even just give it a cursory glance. Like, oh, someone uploaded Lego Batman 3. Maybe is that TT? Oh, no, it's not. This is probably not a legit release. Or, VMware Player. Is it like, is it coming for? It's so fucking insane that this goes through. But
It's really weird.
If this guy actually developed the stuff, that would be quite the resume to go from Lego Batman 3 to like this little indie game to the VMware Player. Like, that's pretty badass. But no,
I mean, I think for him, I mean, at least, I think for Microsoft, that's the biggest hit to them is again, security and all these other things. And they've worked, I think, really hard in the past couple of years, especially with Xbox, and sort of having this like almost iron-fisted hold on what games enter their ecosystem. And that's, to me, it just doesn't make sense that this portion of that branch is just like, they're all just like sitting back, ripping tubes like, yo, bro, we got another upload. Publish that shit. Don't check it. Fuck it. And that's what they're doing.
it's like Hitman's in charge.
It's like Hitman's in charge. Shows up an hour late, doesn't know where he is, and
Leans
just hits
back.
submit. It's fantastic.
Yeah, approved.
I'm approving everyone today.
Oh, approving all the bombs in it out. Boom, boom, boom.
It's definitely the most fucked up story ever.
Yes.
And Derek, what do you think about the story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we hop on over to the mailbag and voicemails? Altius asks, what do you two think will be the biggest announcements and or trends coming out of GDC and PAX East this week? This is really the tip of con season, and we've seen huge announcements in the past. I'm I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of Oculus Rift stuff. That's
after that announcement of HTC getting into the market, which by the way should have been a story. If anyone doesn't know, Steam has their own VMware or virtual reality ware coming out, and HTC is building it. That's a huge competitor. I mean, I don't know how much you looked into it, but damn, they've got some fire behind them, and I think you will see a shit ton of Oculus Rift. I think they have to. And maybe this is good. It's great that we get this fucking competition. I'm so happy that Steam's doing this because maybe then Oculus will move up their deadline and push things out quicker. But yeah,
drop prices.
Drop prices. Yeah, absolutely. I think virtual reality is going to be a big thing for a small period of time. I don't know if it will actually catch on and be the next thing, but certainly I think for a very small window of time when it first gets released, the hype behind it's going to drive sales incredibly. Obviously, now you got two major players in the market. You got Facebook and then obviously Steam. So it's going to be crazy, man. But that's the thing is, in terms of software, I don't see much that I'm looking forward to out of any of these Gamescoms. There's no game that I'm super stoked about or anything like that. So I think hardware is the only way for them to go right now, unless there's some crazy game that you know of that I don't, that you're like dying to play.
I don't think we're going to see any huge secret announcements. I know Blizzard's supposed to announce something, but I'm guessing it's probably just some Hearthstone update or something. PAX East seems to be their go-to Hearthstone announcement place. And now at GDC, that's always a surprise. You just never know what's coming out of there. There's never any warning, and it's usually some smaller game that then gets showcased coming out of there. So I really don't know. Like I said, I can't name an announcement, but the trend I will definitely say is going to be VR. That is,
yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I mean, the hype just because of this Steam thing, it feels like that's going to sort of roll into the next couple months down the line. And I think from what they were saying, most of the Steam like it's going on sale next year. I mean, it's like ready, and they're going to be sending out dev kits almost immediately. So it's a big deal. It's like we're finally going to have a consumer product in our hands, by Christmas of next year. To see what this VR is even really all about. So I would say, given the lag time, there's not a lot of time to even really talk about it. So now's the time to do it. But I do hope that Blizzard at least demos their new Overwatch game, because that's the only other game and that's only because it's a Blizzard product and I want to give it sort of a fair shot. Yeah. So it'd be cool if they did show that off.
Could be. You never know. Yeah. Like last year they had. Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was last year. Was the Hearthstone?
Yeah, and it was giant, and they had all kinds of stuff going on there. So, and the year before that was the announcement of the game. So, they definitely like to showcase shit at PAX East. So,
and Overwatch has that same sort of feel. It's like they're not like pimping it of being the next big World of Warcraft. It's sort of a small scale. It's a shooter, which Blizzard hasn't done ever, I can recall. So it'll be kind of cool to see how that plays out with a community setting. Hopefully, you guys get a chance to play it even. Yep. I mean, you never, it's a shooter. It's weird. It's weird that Blizzard's doing it. So.
Yeah, if nothing else, we got the media hour on Friday, I think it is this year. So that's the 1 hour where you can pick and choose what you want. The problem is that a lot of these exclusive or new announcement things are not showcased yet until the show starts. And you don't use that hour for that. But we'll definitely cram as much as we can in that hour. And then we get the whole weekend to cover everything else. So it'll be a good time. But once again, great question, Altius, as always. All right. Well, if any of you have questions or feedback like Altius, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment on this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors. Remember, if we had sponsors and you supported them, it would help support Still Got Game, but we don't. We are looking for sponsors out there. And once again, you don't have to be a big sponsor. You can be small. You can be an independent game developer. You can just be a guy that wants us to say your name every week. We can pitch your Twitch channel. We'll do whatever you want. So give us a call, 773-527-2961, podcast@toolplay.com. Tell us what you want to pay us. We'll tell you what you're going to pay us and sell, and something's fucked up there. But yeah, we'll do your shit for money. That's really what it boils down to.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah. We're pimps. That's what advertising is. Like, no matter how you try to sell it, like it's like some dignified thing, it's pimping someone's shit for money.
You give me money, I sell your shit. We high five each other in a back alley some more. It's fine.
We tell people it's awesome. We tell people it's the best, but we will not take anything with adware bundled in it or rootkits. That's where we draw the line. Nudity is fine.
Yeah, we're fine with that.
let's start taking shit off right now. But yeah, no rootkits and and no adware. That's seriously where the line is drawn. Jay and I have had many heartfelt discussions about this, and as much as we want that sweet adware and rootkit money, we can't go there.
That rootkit money, bro. Let me tell you.
Those guys pay too. You don't even know, but yeah, we cannot do that. But if any of you have something to sell, 773-527-2961, podcast at toolsplay.com. All right, Twitter us up. You can find everything podcast related at Twitter. Ah, my God, motherfucking, I can't end the show. Fucking sick, bullshit, sickness. Whew. All right, I'm going to try this again. Cold medicine kicking in. It's awesome. It'll be more awesome in a little bit, but all right. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/Tool to Play. Everything podcast related at twitter.com/still_got_game. I, king of the fucking internet, god of everything that's fucking holy, I'm at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And of course, you can find me at twitter.com/DudeIRock.
Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/Tool to Play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeIRock.
We got this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tool to Play. It's the fine place to find all of Tool to Play's video content, whether it's past episodes of this show, whether it's all our fucking one-off shows, it doesn't matter. All of Tool to Play's video content ends up there eventually, youtube.com/Tool to Play. We also have an app. It is on the iTunes App Store. It's absolutely free. It's also in that communist bullshit Android App Store. Free there too, but you never know what you're getting from that App Store. Like, you might have downloaded some creepy fucking pervert app that's going to try to fuck our app when you're not looking at your phone. You know what I mean? It is fucked up. So you definitely want to stay away from Android. It sounds like I'm joking, but I'm serious. Just pick up an iPhone, okay? It's the fucking ecosystem. Get in the ecosystem. But the app is free. It's marginally okay. It's passable. It's not even marginally okay. It's barely even an app at this point. But it's free, and we're looking for comments, and we're going to take all those comments and we're going to make it into a real app that's like right now it's the Pinocchio of apps, and it will become the real boy of apps soon. So give us your comments and we'll help fix it. Also, please rate and review this podcast, and I see Hitman fucking losing his shit. This is what happens when your producer is super baked. He can't believe that we're saying what we say. But anyway, please rate and review the podcast on iTunes. We need 5-star reviews, and we need some comments. Jay, what is a great comment that someone could put in iTunes to go along with their 5-star review?
You want to know that? You don't want to know really an awesome comment?
Yeah, I do. Are you going to read an actual comment here?
Well,
I'm sure you are.
The best comment that you could actually put is the one from Vidler at the beginning of the show, which is that she likes the breakdown, didn't realize the connection, and then, of course, you always learn something new every time you listen to the show.
Wow, that really is true. That is.
Put that in there, give it 5 stars, copy paste, people. Copy paste.
Yep.
And you're good to go.
Do it up. Perfect. It doesn't get any better than that.
Nope.
All right. Last but not least, we have a twitch.tv channel. For those of you live here, it's twitch.tv/Tool to Play. You know that. But the people that are listening in the podcast or people that are viewing the YouTube videos, they don't know that. But this is where the most fun happens, because this is the fire hose feed of Still Got Game. There is nothing blocking the complete fucking mouth vomit bullshit ass shit that comes out like that. There's no filter. And then when you get in the podcast, that sounds like, oh, cheerio, Jay. How are you this week? Oh, pretty good, Derek. Oh, very good. That's nice. And somehow the filter also gives us British accents. I'm not sure where that comes from, but the podcast version sounds really polished. The YouTube version, semi-polished, but this is really an adulterated feed. This is where you get the raw show. And some of the things that we say here, they don't even end up in the outtakes for the real show because they're so fucked up that they're either illegal or immoral, and we just never want them repeated again. But thanks to the power of Twitch, they're always captured here live, and there's nothing we can do about that. But definitely subscribe, twitch.tv/toolplay. There's a little button down at the bottom. Am I this way or this way? Jay knows the way to point, or he's pointing all the ways. But that's where you help give back to the show. He's pointing with a vape That's not a lot of people do that. That's a good pointing device. But yes, so click that button, throw a little back at us, right, Jack?
Goddamn straight.
Yeah, it really helps us out, and that would be super sweet. And, heart. Yeah, much hearts. So before we wrap up, I want to remind you all, you can join us here each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/tools2play. And on that, why don't we wrap this sickness-filled episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
I can't even get my voice up there to do that. I'm so fucking sick.